Imagine a land where reality actually outstrips fantasy. Imagine a land that is surrounded by war zones and yet by some miracle remains blissfully peaceful. Imagine a land that is officially Muslim but tolerates alcohol and prostitution flourishes. Imagine a city that has emerged almost overnight out of the desert like some mirage built by the sweat of indentured workers. Imagine a place like no other. It's unusually quiet this morning at the old camel racetrack in Dubai. All the real excitement is happening just down the road. For today is the final meet of this year's racing season. Horse racing, that is. It is also the social event of the year, where the rich and mighty get to mingle with the lower strata of Dubai society. They've all come here to witness the richest horse race in the world. This year's Dubai World Cup, just over $21 million is up for grabs. However, there will be no wagering by the public at this event, for Dubai is a Muslim state, and gambling is forbidden. Nope, all that money will go to the owners of the winning thoroughbreds. And among those owners is the host of this event, Dubai's leader, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Sheikh Mohammed is arguably the biggest gambler here today. He's betting that his vision of Dubai as the center for a 21st century Arabian Renaissance will prove to be a winner.
Sheikh Mohammed came and said this is now a time for Dubai to go global, to surpass its locality and the region and try to reach to the furthest possible point in the globe.
To help fulfill his vision, Sheikh Mohammed turns to the male members of his ruling Maktoum family. They help run what is known as Dubai Inc. For Dubai functions like a family business, but a family business whose CEO is not afraid to take risks. A stunning example of Sheikh Mohammed's risk-taking juts out of the Arabian Gulf.
There was an idea to put a hotel on land. And His Highness said, no, we want something dramatic, something inspiring coming right out of the sea. So we would build our own island and we would build a hotel on the Burj Al Arab island.
Burj Al Arab, Arabic for the Arabian Tower, is linked to the mainland by a closely guarded causeway, one way to keep gawking tourists from this many-splendored edifice described by the media as the only 7-star hotel in the world.
The market called it 7-star. There may not be a 7-star hotel, but I would certainly claim that it is the most luxurious hotel in the world.
Burj Al Arab, with its gold leaf, marble, satin, and crystal, oozes over-the-top opulence. Almost the height of the Empire State Building, it is also an engineering wonder, with a Teflon-coated veneer shaped like a sail. At this hotel, there are no rooms to rent, only double-floor suites, a mere 202 of them, with rates starting in the low thousands. Everything is done to pamper the hotel guests. From the personal butlers, who are on call 24 hours a day, to a fleet of hotel courtesy cars. Well, not just any fleet, for after all, this is Sheikh Mohammed's very own dream hotel.
Sheikh Mohammed said they have to be white and they have to have blue interiors. So you will notice all of our Rolls Royces, I think we have 16 of them now, including the new Phantoms. They're all white and they all have blue interiors, and that will be very much continue to be the hallmark of the Burj Al Arab long into the future.
Arriving or departing guests who would rather avoid being stuck in the world-class traffic jams of Dubai can opt for an alternate means of transportation. The hotel's helipad is used sparingly. Guests complained about the noise. The helipad, though, was the site of a great publicity stunt. The Agassi-Federer tennis match put Burj Al Arab onto the newscasts and front pages around the world and helped consolidate the name of Dubai as a brand.
This is one city that has done its share of marketing and promoting itself. So, the attraction comes with the good marketing and the good selling of Dubai.
Dubai's biggest promoter and ruler, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, is the latest in a line of the Maktoum family who've reigned over this place. The Maktoums first arrived at this tiny port town more than a century and a half ago, and through most of that reign, there wasn't much about Dubai worth promoting.
Well, going back into history to the 1950s, the place was radically different from what it is right now. It was just a simple city of no importance at all. And when you talk about poverty, then, you could smell and you could see and you could sense that people were really in subsistence, and there was hardly anybody who was educated at the time. My father never had any formal education. He didn't know how to read or write.
This was a town of no distinction, a desultory home to traders and pearl divers, with the occasional pirate or smuggler taking refuge along the shores of its creek. And then in the mid-1960s, a small reserve of oil was discovered in Dubai, paltry in comparison to those of its neighbors in Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia, but big enough that Dubai's leaders saw a chance to transform his desert land.
Sheikh Rashid was the founding father of modern Dubai. He was a businessman, he focused on economics, and this is where Dubai is different. It has a focus. Economic is the focus of Dubai.
Sheikh Rashid started modernizing the city. New roads and buildings sprung up, and a brand new harbor down the coast was created. When it opened, it was the biggest man-made port in the world and gave Dubai its first entry into the record books. In the early 1970s, Dubai joined with 6 surrounding emirates and formed a state called the United Arab Emirates. Of the group, Abu Dhabi might have had the most oil, but Dubai had the drive and ambition. By the 70s, Dubai saw a flood of foreigners turn a sleepy town into an instant city. These early expatriates, or expats as they are known, came mostly from South Asia and surrounding countries like Iran and Iraq. They and all the other expats are here because in this tax-free port city, they see that they can make some real money.
So this is a transient place like any ports in the world is. Port cities usually are cities that bring in people on a temporary basis, and after they make it, they go back to their own country. So we expect many of these Asian, European, American, Arabs, whatever nationalities they come from, they come in here. Some decide to stay longer and some, cut their visits, but on the whole, they are not meant to be here indefinitely.
That's certainly what Hans Krauss, an architect from Canada, thought when he arrived in the early 90s. This was going to be a temporary job for him. 16 years later, he's still here.
I came in July 91, and Dubai is basically unrecognizable. It's a completely different town. When I come from my place, as you approach Sheikh Zayed Road, you can see the entire horizon like a brown haze, which is the pollution.
Hans Krauss is working on a structure that will soar above that pollution and will become the latest addition to Dubai's growing list of superlatives. When finished, the Burj Dubai, a hotel, office, and residential complex, will lay claim to the title of the tallest building in the world. The pace of construction is amazing. Close to 6,000 men work round-the-clock shifts at the tower, which rises 2 floors in a week. By the summer of 2007, it had already surpassed Toronto's CN Tower as the world's tallest freestanding structure. Hans Krause's job as executive architect is to make sure that all the interior finishes are completed as specified.
I guess we just got to make damn sure that the fire rating gets maintained here.
While the bulk of the building is constructed of reinforced concrete, the top part will be steel, allowing for the possibility of adding additional stories if needed or wanted.
The building, I can tell you that it will be more than 700 meters and it will be more than 160 stories, and it was designed by Skidmore, Owings & Merrill with the possibility of changing the height.
This $20 billion project is a development by a publicly traded Dubai company called Emaar, with one very large minority shareholder, the government of Dubai. And that government is, of course, Sheikh Mohammed and the Maktoum family. Even before the first level of the Burj Dubai was completed, virtually all the apartment units were sold out in 2 evenings.
Investors wanted to buy streets, which Emaar did not permit. Investors were limited to maximum 2 floors, and I believe like a 2-bedroom apartment, I'm not sure what the going rate is. I'm sure it's got to be $1.5 million somewhere in there.
Emaar, not satisfied with just having the tallest building in the world, has gone after another record, the world's biggest mall. Dubai Mall, a 12 million square foot monster, will dwarf the 30-odd malls already in business in Dubai, including the city's current favorite, the iconic Mall of the Emirates. When the shop till you drop crowd tires of trolling through the 450 shops and restaurants, they can check out the temporary kiosks, selling perhaps the most popular item in all Dubai, real estate. The real estate market is red hot. Properties are grabbed up on the basis of nothing more than some models and brochures. Owners flip newly purchased apartments 3 or 4 times before a single grain of sand has been moved. Some are concerned that this property bubble might burst overnight, but that hasn't stopped the buying frenzy.
How did you make the money?
I bought it at 7.15.
Oh, very good. And now they will increase next month?
I will not buy. I bought 3 already. It's enough.
I know. No, I mean, next month they will increase 5%.
Yeah, I know. In 2 days.
Dubai is known as one of the fastest growing cities in the world. This massive urban development is driven by Sheikh Mohammed's decision to turn Dubai into a hub for finances, services, and especially tourism. And here at the Mall of the Emirates, one of the biggest tourist attractions is its indoor ski hill, kept at a steady minus 2 degrees Celsius, even as temperatures outdoors might soar into the 50s. There are plans to open another ski hill, which will not only be the world's largest, but its slope will revolve. Another first for Dubai. Dubai is caught up in a building frenzy. Something like a fifth of the world's construction cranes are here on this piece of land that's smaller than Canada's Prince Edward Island. While the construction cranes of the giant building developer Emaar jostle for space in the skies over Dubai, there's another development company jostling for other bragging rights in this land that craves superlatives. A company known as Nikhil is behind the extraordinary man-made island developments visible from space as they emerge out of the Arabian Gulf. It is a construction conglomerate that is ultimately owned by Sheikh Mohammed and the Maktoum family.
Yeah, that's exactly. So we can actually
Among the senior management at Nikhil is a Canadian. Robert Lee was recruited from Vancouver, where he worked on some of that city's largest property developments.
The biggest difference that anybody goes through when they first come here is a sense of timing. The typical real estate development in North America and other places would take between 5 to 10 years. Here, it's 3 years. So everything you do is a lot compressed, and you got to do it fast.
As quickly as building plans are announced they are gobbled up by voracious buyers, eager to indulge in Dubai's real estate banquet. And by far the most coveted properties are those that have some view of the sea.
If you look at Dubai from one end to the other end, it's about 65 kilometers of shoreline. That's it. So the mandate was to create additional beachfront land because water is considered life. So we have this. In the beginning, we actually created an island like this. I was saying, hey, this looks great. But what we've been mandated is, no, create the land that has a maximum linear frontage of water. So do it this way. So what doing this way, you actually create waterfront real estate that's much greater than anything you can imagine.
Sheikh Mohammed was behind the plan to move desert rock and sand to the sea. Another plan was to move the sea to the desert.
Although it's middle of the land, the developer Nakhil has pumped seawater into this area, and every house actually has a waterfront view.
One of those houses with a waterfront view belongs to Robert Lee.
When this house was first marketed, this was just nothing but desert, and it was marketed about $700,000. We're sitting on a quarter acre. House is about 5,000 square feet, so it's considered a estate lot. Now it's about $2.5 million in 3 years.
27. So what's so cold about it?
I think there is a overriding feeling from people who are coming here and saying, this is just temporary place. I am here just to make money, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and I'm going to be out of here. When my bank account reaches a certain level, that's it, I'm back.
For many expats, Dubai is like some kind of economic oasis, a place to stop briefly, replenish the bank account, and then move on.
Sometimes I feel somewhat lonely and then think about our families in Vancouver. So my heart is always in Vancouver. I really want to go back. Yeah.
That's why we go back every summer.
I really want to go back for good. Yeah.
My time is numbered.
A near constant replenishment of expats is vital for Dubai to survive. The locals, the Emirati, are less than 20% of the total population. Someone has to do the work. For the most part, Emirati can lead a very privileged life. They benefit from an elaborate welfare system. If they want to, they can have free education right through postgraduate school, subsidized housing, incentives to marry a fellow national, and the opportunity to get government jobs. The uniform for males of this leisure class is the traditional robe known as a kandura. Expats call it a dishdash. Today, some 30 Emirati have set aside their kanduras and put on the uniform of a cadet pilot at Emirates Airline. Most of Emirates pilots are non-Emirati, so this is a very special graduation, attended by the Vice Chairman, Maurice Flanagan, and the Chairman, Sheikh Ahmed. He's also the uncle to Sheikh Mohammed. They were both there at the very beginning of what has become today the fastest growing airline in the world. It was in 1985 when Sheikh Mohammed decided Dubai needed an airline.
He gave $10 million to start the airline and said, don't come back for any more. And don't expect any of that protection against competition because that's not what we do in Dubai. The open skies policy will stay. He was so wise. But his best gift to the airline was to appoint Sheikh Ahmed, who was only 25 at the time, as chairman.
You know, I have a boss actually who always tell me, if you wake up in the morning, things will be positive, then the whole day will be positive. So actually, we do get a lot of encouragement from him to go ahead. He always said people sometimes can make mistakes. We always calculate risk.
They've helped turn Emirates Airline into a major player in the aviation world. It has on order more new Airbuses and long-haul Boeing planes than any other airline.
It's a Maktoum family business, which makes it rather special. It's got to be good, look good, and make money.
Dubai has become virtually overnight a mecca for tourists, even though it is situated at the edge of a variety of war zones. Attracted by the beaches and various Disney-esque entertainments, Dubai's biggest draw remains shopping. Even the airport terminal is turned into a shopping emporium where kitschy Middle East knickknacks compete with kilo bars of gold for the tourist dollar. And expectations are that by the year 2010, 15 million tourists will come to Dubai. Strategically located, it's also becoming a major link to the booming Asian and South Asian markets.
We're trying to make Dubai the hub for the region. We are courageous to do things here in Dubai on such a big scale. When we announce it, it makes the news in the rest of the world.
The latest news is that out in the desert, Dubai is building not only the world's largest airport, but also potentially the world's busiest.
Eventually, it will accommodate something like 145 million passengers a year. People say, you don't talk about airports more than 100 million a year. We talk about this stuff in Dubai. we know that it's made to work in Dubai.
As the sand is moved to create another gargantuan project, destined for the record books, there is one record that Dubai can be less than proud of. Wherever another of Dubai's monumental projects pops up, they are there. They are the muscle that pours the concrete, moves the sand, ties the steel rods. They are the manual laborers who are behind the construction boom of Dubai. They come from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and China. There's almost 1 million of them, and they're here for one reason only.
They're trying to earn more money. You can't get this much money in their home country.
After their shift change, they are shuttled in buses back to their work camps, like this one at Sonapur, a word that means city of gold in Hindi. But this city of gold is somewhat tarnished. 150,000 men are jammed together to eat, wash, and sleep in overcrowded dorms.
He wakes up at 4:30 in the morning, cooks his breakfast, and by 5:30 takes a shower and all gets ready. By 5:30 they start for their work site, and the whole day he works out there. By 6 o'clock and returns, starts back for home, and the time they reach home, maybe sometimes 8 o'clock. After getting back, they wash their clothes and again cooks for the dinner, and then they go to sleep.
Recently, workers have begun to protest the wages, the safety standards, and the poor treatment they get from the companies they signed up with. In 2006, Human Rights Watch described the construction workers as deportable forced labor and condemned the Emirates for cheating workers. Demonstrations and strikes have shaken authorities, and they're beginning to crack down on those companies who don't follow the rules. There's even some talk that unions might be permitted, but only if Sheikh Mohammed approves. For now, it's business as usual for the workers toiling beside the Burj Al Arab. Sheikh Mohammed must have agreed to another beach development. The announcement to the surprised locals came in the form of a wall cutting them off from the existing public beach.
We have this beautiful public beach. They decided to build a hotel. You know, here it's all about hotels. So they just blocked this beautiful beach and they put a wall.
On weekends, Melanie Janelle comes down to skate along that beachfront. She has a passion for skating. In Montreal, she was a figure skater, almost making it to Canada's national team. And just as it is in Canada, skating outdoors here turns out to be definitely a seasonal pastime.
During summer, it's so hot that if you want to do sport, you have to do it in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, because at 7 o'clock, it's already like 40 degrees, so you just forget about it. I've been here for 1 year and a half. The first year was quite difficult to find a place where to live. I rented a villa not really far from the beach, and I have 4 roommates. We are 3 Canadian, 1 French guy, and 1 British girl, but all engineers. It just happened that, we just get along, so we decided to live together.
Melanie works as an engineer, debugging computer glitches connected to piloting helicopters. It often requires some hands-on testing.
When I want to test my system or the new fix I did, I need to fly it. So that's the reason of a bit of practice, and I learn a bit by myself. I never flew in a real helicopter, never. Maybe one day.
Simulators can help pilots prepare for real-life situations. But there's no simulator that prepares expats for the realities of the Great Divide between them and the local Emirati.
At my work, there's no Emirati. Yeah, there's just no opportunity to meet them. The culture is different. Yeah, they are different.
Adding to the cultural divide is a slew of local rules expats are expected to know and follow.
So they have a lot of regulations for us, which is normal, all these strangers coming to your country. So we need a permit for the alcohol. Everything, we need a letter from our company, and they mention about our salary. For the alcohol permit, depend on your salary, you can buy a little bit more per month. So you get a high salary, okay, you can get drunk a lot.
But this is also a land which has Sharia law. And it's not just Muslim women's rights that are affected.
It's not easy to be a woman here, and especially single. So what I do sometimes, everything about car, about the bank, or if I have any trouble, I call my colleagues and they help me. So they just pretend that they are my husband. So I do that often, yeah. Like here, the culture, the Arabic culture and the Indian culture, they see women differently. And I want to know more about their culture, and especially the women, because it's more difficult to talk to them. You don't see them often. You see them at the shopping center. Otherwise, on the street, they're just in the car, and they just don't see inside. We have to understand, we are in a Muslim country, but it's okay.
At the home of Alia Al-Shamsi, it's not uncommon to find her in the traditional Dubai black gown, known as an abaya.
We wear whatever most women wear, but with just the black on top. We wear it for cultural and heritage reasons. This is part of our identity. A few people think, they're oppressed and this is not a good thing, and why do I see it why not? I'm living here. It's part of the culture. It's a nice thing to show that this is what Emiratis wear. We want to hold on to our culture, but we can't really live that kind of life our grandfathers had, because obviously everything has changed.
Alia has chosen to pursue a career in what was traditionally a profession only open to males.
When I first said I want to go into photography and I want to become a photographer, they looked at me like, are you mad? Are you crazy? What kind of a future can that give you?
Working as one of the first professional female photographers in Dubai does have some advantages.
I know the people, and being a national makes it a lot easier on me. So I can go into places, I can talk to people, and I can gain their trust. Especially being a woman, I've actually noticed that I gain their trust, because I walk into a house, I walk into a home, and I'm not a threat. I'm not seen as a threat. I'm a tiny little girl with a camera, and so they tend to relax. Smile, Betty.
The newest generation of Emirati is not satisfied with following stereotypes. Ahmed Ben Shabib, along with his twin brother, have started Dubai's newest lifestyle magazine called Brown Book.
We feel that Brown Book will become a lifestyle medium for communication from the Middle East by a younger generation from within this market to the international population. First of all, it's for people like me. I'm the next generation in the market. I speak English. We speak the international language of business, which is English, and we actually grasp it much easier than Arabic. And we wanted to go global. We wanted to go international.
Their other new enterprise is certainly a lot less global in scope.
Brown Bag is an online store that delivers within the hour, any hour, within Dubai. So basically it's groceries, magazines, movie rentals. And ever since our launch last year in July, we've rounded up about 7,500 customers in Dubai, and we get about 70,000 hits a week.
These are brand new endeavors, breaking with what was the family's traditional business, real estate development.
The previous generation came and they joined the family without any questions, without any hesitations. I think we face, as a second generation, a frustration of breaking the norm, whether it be socially breaking the norm or in the business life. And we want to become basically participants to the international community.
However, there is one tradition that the new generation is loath to give up. That long white cloak that's been worn by Emirati men for centuries.
If you look at us as a new generation, I'm wearing the Kandora. Why do I wear this? I think it's just identifying our roots and trying to communicate our roots, whether it be in our business, whether it be in our social conduct, or whether it be in our lifestyle, whatever it may be.
Currently, the fashion is for young, withered Emirati men to doff their headscarves at work. They also seem to have given up on their razors.
I think, okay, the stubble, I think Brad Pitt inspired us. No, I think it's just how we express ourselves. And I think it's attractive to the girls as well, so.
Seeing superficial cosmetic changes might be one thing, but a more surprising change is going on at the battle for the beach. That wall, which put an end to access to the beach, had generated a rare public outcry among the expats.
Last week, somebody started petition. And, you know, on internet it can go really, like, a lot of people sign. And I signed. I sent that to all my friends. And lucky we are, they decided, okay, we're going to stop this. They will remove the wall. And then all the expats will be able to go again on the beach.
It seems that the man with the unelected supreme authority, Sheikh Mohammed, had actually listened to the people, even if they were just expats. Dubai has become a magnet for the young and ambitious from around the world, drawn by the lure of opportunity and money.
It's basically all expats here. So I live here, and this is just one room. Basically what I've got here, I've got my bed. There are 2 side tables. It's a furnished room. And I've got a chest full of my clothes and a fridge. And there's a bathroom on the side. This costs me 5,500 dirhams a month. And I think that's equivalent to about $1,800 Canadian.
Devinder Rowe is 31 years of age. After working for 6 years in the pharmaceutical industry in Canada, he's come to Dubai looking for something else.
I left a perfectly good position back home, and I'm getting interviews in the real estate sector, in the engineering sector, because they need people. From a professional perspective, there is no better place, I think, in this world to come than right here, right now. And that's why I'm here. People come here when they're single, they can take a chance. They can take a chance on their career, on their professional life, and their personal life. People come here for 2 years, 3 years, and then they want to go home. So they work very hard here, but they play very hard. And it's amazing, it's extremely expensive. They're out and about, meeting people at the same time. They realize that they're going to go back to a regular life. It is a hedonistic lifestyle. Money is one side, the other is how attractive you are. And if you're not decent looking, then you don't represent a good image for any company. Apparently now all these plastic surgery, everything is moving here. Everybody's good looking. You go out to the bars and everything, everybody's fit because people are so conscious of what they look like. I find everybody is attractive, except me.
With so many South Asians working and living in Dubai, a place that some call the best-run Indian city in the world, Devinder should by rights fit right in.
I'm visibly Indian, visibly Sikh. People treat you a different way. You go into the shopping malls, you go into the stores, and you're always the second to be attended to. If there's a local in the area, then they're always the first to be, helped. One time I was ordering food, and the food was basically right at the front, ready to go. He was going to bring it to my table, and a local came in, said he can't be served before I am, and kind of moved me aside, and he sat down. They didn't give me my food. They couldn't give me my food until he was served and eating.
The Emirati are acutely aware that this tsunami of foreigners is having a profound impact on them and their lives.
Many of us, the majority of us, let me say, do not like the fact that we are becoming a minority in our own country, and I think this is one of the negative side effects of this massive growth, this double-digit fast growth that the city has gone on to. So there is a problem because we are becoming something like a 20% in our own country, and it's not a good feeling.
Many nationals, they would feel that they are strangers on their own land, especially if they go to the old quarter market. If you go sea of different nationalities, an Arab wearing a traditional cloth will be just a drop in that sea. Some of the aspects also that affected the culture is the moral behaviors. One would see if he's going with his family to the seaside, that there are certain ways of dressing that are not suitable and contradicts with our religion, with our culture, but it is there. We feel sad that no one says anything about it.
It's all the more difficult to speak out since Sheikh Mohammed has decreed that one of Dubai's current priorities is tourism.
If you want to be a tourist hub and you want to be a tourist center, you have to provide, the niceties of life. And I think that's just part of it. Anywhere you go, Dubai or London or any big cities, there are, nightlives, and there are good lives, and there are, it's the soft side of life. And you have to, to attend to that too.
With the exception of drugs, internet porn, and drinking and driving, Dubai seems remarkably tolerant of most vices found in the West, including prostitution. But not everyone is happy about it.
Of course, it's an offense to see a prostitute either walking in the street or being in the hotel, or dressing or calling her clients publicly, and it's outrageous to find such a thing in Arab and Muslim country.
One nightclub had become particularly notorious. Every night, up to 600 women from former Iron Curtain countries in Asia, officially here as kindergarten teachers or domestic help, would show up to work the night shift. No one is saying why it suddenly closed its doors, but prostitution continues to thrive, even though it is officially illegal.
And if that's what attracts the expats and what makes them feel comfortable, and if that's their business and if that's what they want to do, so be it, This is not an invitation for the Muslims to be corrupted. If they don't want to touch these places, there are plenty of mosques, there are plenty of prayer places that you could go to. So you don't have to go to the bars and to the nightclubs and to the what have you, So I think this is a place that have recognized that diversity is essential.
Non-Muslims are allowed to practice their religion. Virtually every Christian denomination has a house of worship. There's even a temple that Sikhs and Hindus use, but still no synagogues. And it's still officially forbidden to enter the country using an Israeli passport, although there are no prohibitions against Jews traveling to Dubai.
This is also an experiment in social tolerance. People that don't get along with each other outside, they come in here and they get along with each other extremely well.
A rich brew of war, instability, and terrorism bubbles in the region that surrounds Dubai.
This is a region that is very volatile. This is a region that is full of crisis. Why Dubai has stayed out of it, that's, a miracle of a sort, and I hope it stays that way. I hope nobody comes and tampers with the security and the safety and the stability of this place.
The American carrier battle groups that patrol the Arabian Gulf around Iran and Iraq have made Dubai a regular port of call for servicing ships and shopping sailors. Its importance has even been publicly recognized by a prominent supporter in Washington.
They are a key partner for our military in a critical region. And outside of our own country, Dubai services more of our military ships than any country in the world.
The American president and the American Navy might think of Dubai as a trustworthy ally, but the American Congress had a different idea, with shocking results for Dubai. World. Deal. A political firestorm broke out in Washington. Security concerns, ultimately scuttling the deal.
Honestly, we have been disappointed. We really within misconception. There, self.
U.S. Which just office here. Of the
for us.
Marina. Begin with.
Whatever is a big risk. Was the ruler speeches to us, to a smaller group. He said, one upon a time, I, as a leader, keep Dubai the way it is, a traditional state, or take a totally different direction and take the risk. And at that time, we started to think beyond the box.
Thinking beyond the box has also meant moving beyond the borders of Dubai. The Jumeirah Group, another of Dubai Inc.'s corporations, is out there buying high-end hotel operations, including New York City's Essex House Hotel. Bourse Dubai, a Dubai Stock Exchange holding company controlled by Sheikh Mohammed, is in the process of buying almost 20% of NASDAQ, one of the U.S. key stock exchanges, and almost 30% of the London Stock Exchange. Dubai Inc. is also investing in another desert city, Las Vegas.
It is trying to make a point for itself and for everybody else that we could build probably the first ever non-oil economy in this region that is primarily an oil-oriented region. And we could make a non-oil economy that is infinitely better than an oil-based economy.
Dubai's impact on its immediate neighbors is already having an effect. As Burj Dubai continues to soar ever upwards, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar have each announced plans to erect even taller buildings. The latest report is that they will be joined by another company from, of all places, Dubai. Nikhil, another member of Dubai Inc., has plans to surpass the Burj Dubai. The race is on. Evening by the time the last and the richest of the races at the Dubai World Cup are run. Some of the thoroughbreds' owners are vying for prize money bigger than any in the racing world. But Sheikh Mohammed is betting on something even bigger, a city-state unlike any in the world today.
I think this is the kind of tolerant, modern, acceptable Islam that prevails in here. And this is Islam that goes along well with modernity, goes along well with globalization, that is not extremist or fundamentalist in any way, and I hope this is the kind of Islam that is spreads around.
Whether this Dubai is really an economic and social miracle, or merely another desert mirage, depends on Sheikh Mohammed's acumen and continued good fortune. And unfortunately for Sheikh Mohammed, this year's winning purse of $6 million was not won by him. However, the money will stay in Dubai, for tonight's big winner just happens to be Sheikh Mohammed's brother. One way or another, Dubai Inc. looks like it's still on a winning streak.